Hi, and welcome to the second episode of Small Talk from the Tall Pines. It's Thanksgiving. Happy Thanksgiving. This is being released on Thanksgiving Day, so if you haven't eaten yet, I hope that you look forward to a very happy meal with your family and friends and your loved ones or whoever you're spending it with. If you have eaten by now, I hope your bellies are full and happy. Today's show is going to have Ben Brunell on it as my guest, and I am looking forward to it. Ben Brunell is the owner of the Hodag Store here in town, and he is all about the Hodag, cryptozoology. He travels all around the country and celebrating the Hodag and making sure that everybody knows about our lovable Hodag. So I'm really looking forward to our conversation with him. I'd like to see his process for how he actually comes up with the ideas for these fun videos that he does, music parodies, the fun videos, the movie reenactments, all of that with the Hodag. So we're going to kind of delve into that and see where his mind is when he processes these ideas. Also, for my movie review today, it's going to be wonderful. I am reviewing, and I know it's already been out and it's on DVD and now and on streaming, but right now I want to go ahead and review Elvis, the movie that came out just this last year and starring Austin Butler, directed by Baz Luhrmann. I think that this movie review is going to be really interesting for you because I am a huge Elvis fan. So when we come back, we're going to talk about Elvis the movie. And welcome back. So, movie review time. Elvis the movie, 2022. Director Baz Luhrmann, starring Austin Butler. I am really excited about this movie. As you can see, I'm wearing my Elvis shirt for this review. He has been my favorite singer since I was 5 years old. He has inspired me. He has been a part of my life pretty much my whole life. And I hold Elvis in a very, very high regard. Anybody that knows me knows I am a huge Elvis fan. With that being said, there have been movies in the past, Elvis and Me, Elvis and the Beauty Queen starring John Johnson, just numerous movies. They even had Kurt Russell as Elvis in one of the very first motion pictures about Elvis. And I have to say that they've all been pretty much a letdown for me. They go off on tangents that never happened. They focus too much on the bad stuff that happened with Elvis personally. The movies themselves were poorly done. The cinematography is poorly done. The actors looked and sounded nothing like Elvis, and their lip syncing was terrible. But that's in the past. Baz Luhrmann has brought to us a film that finally does justice to Elvis Presley. When I first went into this movie, I had very low expectations because of all the movies that had been done in the past. Absolutely terrible. So when I went in there, I was optimistically hopeful that this movie would finally show Elvis the way he truly was, and I think Baz Luhrmann really nailed it. Not only did Baz Luhrmann nail it, but Austin Butler nailed it. I will be honest, when I first saw who they picked to play Elvis without any makeup and all that, and it was just the actor himself, I was not too impressed. I didn't think he looked much like Elvis. I wasn't sure if he was going to be able to carry on the persona of Elvis. I was dead wrong. He absolutely embodied Elvis as a person. I honestly believe that he had touched into the key aspects of who Elvis truly was. A very generous man, humble to a fault, honestly. And Austin Butler spent years, like I think they said like 2 or 3 years, really just studying everything that was Elvis Presley. His persona, his movements, the way he acted, the way he walked, the way he talked. It was absolutely perfection. There were times during this film where I actually forgot I was watching an actor. That's how close he came to being Elvis in this film. Tom Hanks did a splendid job as Colonel Tom Parker. I will say that the accent was a little off. That would be my only critique on Tom Hanks. I wasn't sure what they were going for there. Maybe it was to solidify the fact that Colonel Parker was an illegal alien here in the United States while he was managing Elvis. The whole thing online where people are saying that, you know, it's not historically accurate, there are some liberties. Yes, there are some liberties, but they're not so bad that it actually takes away from the true history of what happened with Elvis and Colonel. What they're talking about is some placement of some songs. Specifically, one that is really noticeable for us Elvis fans is when he is in the 50s and he's doing a concert where he moves his little finger for the police because the police told him he can't move. He sings a song called Trouble. Now that song doesn't come out until like a couple of years after this concert took place. But I understand why they put that song in there. They put it in there to move that scene along. It really wanted to give an emphasis of Elvis is about to just make everything explode by going against the man, if you will. He's not supposed to move. That's true. He was told by the police department that he does any lewd gyrating on stage that he would be arrested. All of that is absolutely true. That did happen. The only thing that didn't happen was he didn't sing that song at that concert in real life. But for the movie, I get it. They wanted to really set the tone for that scene. And for me, that does not take away anything from the movie at all. And believe me, if it did, I would be the first to say so. A lot of the other things later in the film when Elvis fires the Colonel on stage, that didn't happen per se. It did happen behind the stage though. Elvis did fire the Colonel at that moment during that time, but it was mostly due to the fact that they had an agreement with the International Hotel, and the International Hotel had fired one of Elvis's favorite employees that they had there. And Elvis threatened, you know, to walk off the stage and until they hired him back. And it's a whole story, and maybe we'll talk about it someday. But regardless, backstage, Elvis was in a really foul mood because of this, and he did fire the Colonel at that point. And unfortunately, yes, he hired the Colonel back because the Colonel gave him a big bill that Elvis could never afford to pay. Even with all his money, Colonel Parker took complete advantage of him. So what also really spoke to me was the fact that they took us to the very end. Now, Unchained Melody, when he sits down at that piano from the concert in Rapid City, South Dakota in 1977, this was only a few months before he died. It was touching, it was heartbreaking, and even people that I was with that said they weren't really big Elvis fans felt very emotional during this period because they knew what was about to happen. It was pretty much one of the last concerts he ever did. And Austin Butler embodied this extremely ill Elvis Presley. And he nailed the movements, he got every smirk down to a T. And about halfway through the song, they switch the film to the actual concert of Elvis singing Unchained Melody, and that was it for me. I got very emotional, and I'm not afraid to say that, being as Elvis has been a part of my life pretty much since the beginning. And to this day, I still get emotional when I think about how he had passed on and all the things that could have been if he had got the help that he desperately needed. So I am going to give Elvis 2022, directed by Baz Luhrmann, starring Austin Butler, a 5 burning loves. I absolutely loved this movie, and I cannot wait to watch it again and again and again. So if you have not seen this movie, even if you're not an Elvis fan, go see this movie. Download it, get it on streaming, buy the DVD, whatever you gotta do, you gotta see this movie. And there's a really good chance you're gonna find a brand new appreciation for Elvis and a new love for Elvis. So, 5 burning loves. You know, when I'm out here in the forest, chopping down trees. My skin takes a beating from the cold, crisp air. When bitter cold air hits your skin, it becomes itchy and dry, often causing pain and discomfort. That's why I carry Hodag Skin Balm. Applying a thin layer of Hodag Skin Balm to wind-damaged skin will provide immediate relief from that itchy, dry skin. And that fine woodsy smell that screams manliness. Yes, Hodag Skin Balm provides fast-acting relief with a manly scent. Made from ingredients only found in nature and enhanced by human technology. Hodag Skin Balm. When the bitter air hits, hit back with Hodag Skin Balm. Hodag Skin Balm may cause pimples, hair loss, vision problems, hearing loss, leprosy, nosebleeds, unidentified skin lesions, flatulence, IBD, loss of finger and toenails, loss of scent, psychotic breaks, rapid hair growth, burns, chickenpox, shingles, and death. If you experience any of these symptoms, discontinue use right away. Hodag Skin Balm, LLC is not responsible for the possible side effects. Hodag Skin Balm. For the beast. So welcome back. As I said before, we have Ben Brunell here from the Hodag Store, but he also does a lot of different things around the community to get the Hodag out there, get the Hodag seen and heard all over the country, actually. Welcome to the show, Ben.
Hey, thanks for having me, Tom.
You're welcome. So first I wanted to start this conversation off with, you are a born and raised Rhinelander area.
Correct. Born and raised Hodag from right here in Rhinelander, Wisconsin.
How many generations does your family go back in the area?
Like 3 or 4.
Oh, that's pretty good, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a long time. So, what made you decide to open up a store completely dedicated to our beloved Hodag?
Well, like you said, I'm a born and raised Hodag, so it's in my blood, and I've had an antique store, resale store that we opened up in my father's old Texaco gas station, and over the course of time, people always asked at the checkout, where do you get a Hodag this, a Hodag that, and I always said, I don't know. Check the gas station, maybe Walmart. There wasn't really like a specific location for Hodag stuff, so I decided to pursue an idea of that, and here we are today.
So you found a niche, a needed asset in the community, and you ran with it. That is like the ideal entrepreneurship, destination, is to find a need in the community and fulfill that need, which was the Hodag Store, especially for tourists, I assume.
Yeah, lots of tourists stopping by.
So what kind of things can you find inside the store?
Oh,
my favorite's the Hodag poop.
That's a lot of favorites. You can find literally everything. We got keychains, shirts, hats, Hodag poop, which is like a form of silly putty and an egg, stickers, you name it, we got a Hodag on it.
Very cool. So when we go into your store, you have all those really cool little knickknacks and stuff, a lot of souvenirs that people can buy and everything. But you also have books on the Hodag. You have all sorts of different things. You have a real menagerie of stuff there.
Yeah, I want to say there's, last time I counted, about 250 different Hodag-related items at my store.
That's amazing. That's amazing. And like I said, it's a beloved store in the community. When everyone says, Ben Brunell or the Hodag Store, they know exactly what we're talking about. So recently, though, you decided to get into the Airbnb game.
Yeah, it's something that we're just getting into going here. It hasn't quite started up yet, but we're opening up the House of Hodags. It's going to be right behind the Hodag Store, and it's going to be a spot where you can take your Rhinelander stay to the next level.
That's really cool. Yeah. So I'm inside of the home right now because I'm painting some murals and stuff inside of the Hodag house. But I think it's going to be a really cool destination for tourists to come up and get a real flavor of what the Hodag's all about. And being inside the house myself, just painting the murals and stuff, it's got that really Northwoods Hodag vibe.
Yeah.
And I absolutely love it. I think you're doing a great job.
Yeah,
with that.
no, thank you. It's 100% immersive Hodag Airbnb experience.
Right. I mean, the only thing missing is a literal Hodag in the backyard.
A real live one.
Yeah. But they're out there, so maybe if you catch one someday.
Yeah.
So Carrie Bladorn was here on my last episode, and you two have partnered up to do a vocal podcast.
Oh, yes.
Why don't you tell us about that?
We love talking about Hodags. It's a passion we have, and we decided to share that passion with people. If they wanted to listen to us talk about Hodags, we're offering it up to them. And we just talk a little bit about Rhinelander, the legend and the lore of the creature, things that we've been doing with like events with the Hodag, and a little bit of everything. Very cool. And on top of that, you come up with some really funny parody commercials during your show. A lot of them based on the Hodag, and I crack up every time I hear them. But you also do music video parodies. You do parodies of movie. You guys parodied Groundhog Day. Yeah, that's a tradition, an annual tradition we like to do. Right. Yeah, I mean, all these things that you bring to the community just to bring a smile to people's face is absolutely wonderful. And I actually had a question that, I don't understand where you come up with all these great ideas. I mean, what is your process? How do you figure out how to parody a certain song to fit a Hodag? Well, I mean, it's really not that hard of a process. Some people might think it is. Well, actually, I brought a little clip if we want to watch. Go ahead and just watch that. Oh, okay. Yeah, let's see the clip. That's it.
Right.
So yeah, you can see it's not that hard, Tom.
It's interesting. I'll give you that. So you have parodied several songs, one being Tequila, Hodaga. What are some of the other parodies that you've done?
We just did a Dagzilla parody of a Blue Oyster Cult Godzilla. My favorite, the cult classic, Hodag Hunters, parody of Ghostbusters. And our first hit sensation was I Saw a Hodag by the one and only Carrie Exotic, the Hodag King.
Yes.
A parody of the Netflix series, The Tiger King.
Right. Yeah, Carrie Exotic has become a cultural icon in the Northwoods. You can't really go much anywhere without seeing at least his face on a sticker somewhere in the Northwoods. And if you're lucky, you just might get a sighting of him in there. So.
I can't even, he's got groupies even, that's unbelievable.
Yeah, I saw him at the fair, the Oneida County Fair, and someone actually gave him something to sign and all that. And I mean, they were just wild. Yeah, he's like the Elvis of the Northwoods.
I heard there was a great performance there that him and the Hodag did. I missed it, unfortunately, but
yeah, it was inspiring. He's literally the Northwoods.
I heard it was awe-moving.
Especially when he does a little leg wiggle and stuff, and drives the Hodag girls wild and stuff. Man, it's crazy. So why don't you tell us a little bit more about what you got coming up in the future? What does the Hodag look like in the future for you?
Oh boy, new and exciting Hodag things I got going on. Well, I'd say right now I'm pretty much just going to focus on the store. We got the Airbnb thing going on. I do have a Hodag secret idea deep in the back of my brain that I'm not unleashing yet.
Got it.
But other than that, just keep on the Hodag tradition.
So if we see you floating in the sky out there, we just know that you're thinking of new.
I'm thinking very hard about something with the Hodag.
Well, that's good. Hey, there's Da Vinci. How you doing, buddy? Da Vinci is my co-host right now. He likes to make sure that I'm asking all the right questions.
Well, thanks for joining us.
Yeah, he's a good boy. So you also travel around the country promoting the Hodag. What are some of the more interesting places that you've brought the Hodag?
Well, yeah, I like to consider myself like a nationwide Hodag ambassador. And on those journeys, we brought the Hodag many places. Recently, we're just in West Virginia at the Mothman Festival, which was a huge gathering of 25,000 plus people. We've gone to Kentucky for an event called CryptidCon, Iowa for a Van Meter Visitor Festival. We've also done other crazy just excursions. The Hodag went to a battleship in Michigan, the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in Cleveland, was on the Maid of the Mist at Niagara Falls, and other various national landmark touristy destinations.
So explain to some of the reactions you get when people see a Hodag for the very first time. Out in like West Virginia or Niagara Falls.
9 times out of 10 they love it.
Yeah.
They're curious, they're fascinated, they want to know more. At that point, we indulge them with the information of that this is a Hodag. It comes from the motherland of Rhinelander, Wisconsin, and they get intrigued, and I hope that they Google it and learn a little bit more. Some people, believe it or not, they know what it is, and it blows our mind. We were at the top of the falls at Niagara Falls, and a guy said, "Are you a Hodag?" I don't know if he's seen my car out in the parking lot or not, but he knew what it was, and he says, "Y'all from Wisconsin?" And we're like, "Yes." And then he left. So I mean,
that's crazy. Yeah, I mean and not to some small part on your guys' part. I mean, you guys are really putting the footwork out there, and you're getting the Hodag seen all over the country. So in large part, it's because of you guys that our Hodag is getting national recognition, especially with our mascot.
Yeah, number one mascot in America.
Yeah, we won the number one mascot in America challenge, and it was no small feat either. I mean, how many votes did it win by?
Oh, it was like 100,000 votes.
100,000. It's like a landslide, basically. Yeah. So it's really cool seeing other people talking about the Hodag across the country, especially with national recognition such as that. I think it's wonderful, and like I said, I don't think it's any small part on yours and Carrie's side at all. I think that you guys being out there really helps get our Hodag out there and be seen and all that kind of stuff. And of course, he's had recognition before. I mean, he was in an episode of Scooby-Doo. Right?
Yeah, you know, he's been in Scooby-Doo. He was in the Harry Potter series book, Fantastic Beast, and whatnot. But I guess on the subject of going on events and stuff like that, traveling around the country, one of my most memorable moments or impactful moments with the Hodag that I've had was when we were down in Kentucky. A couple, they saw my booth, they fell in love with the Hodag, they were intrigued enough, they got married. The very next day, these people live in Ohio, they saw us in Kentucky at this event. Well, they got married in Ohio, and the very next day, they came up to Rhinelander for a Hodag honeymoon.
That's pretty cool.
It was pretty special. So
that's the kind of stuff I'm talking about. I mean, you guys are out there, and just the love of the Hodag is everywhere, honestly. And what's not to love about our Hodag? He's a great mascot. He's a fantastic marketing animal to get tourists to come to our beautiful town and check everything out that we have to offer. I mean, geez, we got thousands of lakes, hiking trails, snowmobile trails, ATVs. I mean, you name it, we got it, you know. And the Hodag is just like the cherry right on top of everything that this place has to offer. That's why I love the area so much. So when you travel around, people can see you in 2 different types of vehicles. One I've seen, well, probably 3, right? One I've seen is the Hodag Buster car with the Hodag Busters stickers on.
Oh, in my SUV?
Yep. You got one that's basically just covered in, like, you know, what's a Hodag and all that kind of stuff. And then the other one is this big green monstrosity.
The Beastmobile.
The Beastmobile.
Yes.
Why don't you describe that a little bit? Why?
Why not?
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point.
It's old 1973 Chevrolet step van, similar to like a bread truck UPS style van, and I just found a graffiti artist that happened to be traveling in the area. I got him spray painted up with Hodags, and he did a fabulous job.
Yeah, he did.
He also did the fence out at Spencer's Den, the bar out on River Road, which is how I discovered him as an artist. And yeah, no, he did a fabulous job with it.
Yeah, I mean, that thing traveling down the road, everyone knows it's the Hodag Store mobile. And
Yeah.
I think it's great. It's creative, it's eye-catching, and it's got a nice huge area for you to carry all your stuff with each event that you set up at. So it's a no-brainer that it's a great vehicle to have, for, especially for what you do. So where else can people find out about what you do? Like what's your podcast address? What's your store address, website?
Well, I made it fairly easy for everybody. You can go just to thehodagstore.com, and that'll get you access to everything we do. The podcast is on there. We have Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, all the Hodag Store, the Hodag Show.
Well, that's very cool. So basically just an all-in-one shot. Is your OnlyFans on there too? Or?
No.
No?
No.
Hodag.
I've had people say I should make a Hodag
like a parody OnlyFans?
like a fun, just like a funny one,
Yeah.
you know, but
yeah, sometimes you can push the envelope a little too much. And,
Yeah.
I don't know. I think it would be funny, but what are you going to do? Before we let you go, I did want to touch on a really cool event that you're a part of. Why don't you tell everybody about the Hodag Heritage Festival?
Yes, Hodag Heritage Festival. It's happening May 20th this coming year. It'll be the third year. Collaboration between myself, the Hodag Store, Carrie Bladorn from the Pioneer Park Historical Complex, and the Rhinelander Chamber of Commerce. And it is just a day that celebrates the beast. We have started off with like a pancake dinner, or pancake breakfast, I'm sorry. In the morning, there's live music. We have a Hodag calling contest, a Hodag reenactment, kind of like how Gene Shepard would have portrayed it back in the 1800s. I have found local and cryptid vendors from all over the country that travel here to sell their Hodag and other cryptid merchandise. Hodag History Bus Tour. You can go to Hodag Heritage Festival Facebook page or on the Rhinelander Chamber of Commerce to learn more.
Now, I heard that last year at the Heritage Festival, you kind of got your heart broken a little bit. You met a girl, and she didn't live around here. She had to go home, and you're kind of moping around for a few
Yeah,
days.
I remember her. She really broke my heart.
Yeah.
Barbara, I think her name was.
Yeah, she was part of the Hodag reenactment.
She went back to Florida, I think. Yeah.
Gibsonton, Florida. Have you talked to her since? Have you?
No. I've thought about her though. Yeah.
She was an attractive woman. I'll give you that. I saw her from afar, and yeah, I mean, she's got the curves, and I mean, she's a beautiful lady. So it doesn't surprise me that she broke your heart.
Yeah.
So one last question. What do you feel is truly the spirit of the Hodag? Like, do you know that he's out there somewhere lurking in the woods, just watching us and trying to spy a white bulldog somewhere? Or do you feel it's more of a energy and a spirit that's within everybody in Rhinelander? Carrie thinks there's a beast out there somewhere.
Well, Carrie thinks a lot of things. I think the Hodag's right here. It's in the heart and the soul and spirit of everybody who's in Rhinelander, who's been born here, raised here, graduated, had Rhinelander and the Hodag be part of their life at some point. And that's how the Hodag continues to live on today.
It's great. It really is great. Well, Ben, thank you for coming on to the show, our second episode. This is our Thanksgiving episode, so I want to wish everybody a happy Thanksgiving, and I hope you guys are filling up with lots of food and spending quality time with family. So, Ben, you want to say anything to the audience before we go?
Have a happy Hodag Thanksgiving, y'all.
Bye. Thanks. We'll talk again soon.